My name is Mia Bailey, and I am a sophomore in the Dietetics, Nutrition, and Food Science major. And I did my practicum this semester with the refueling station in Patrick Gym. Some history about the refueling station is that it is and always has been a way to provide healthy snacks to athletes after their lifts. So, whether that means that the athlete maybe forgot their snack or they're in a rush on the way to class and they won't have time to get breakfast, we're kind of here as their backup plan to give them what they need to continue moving throughout the day. So the principles have generally stayed the same, but the strategies have become easier on the interns. Athletes now have their own cups that they have to bring to lifts, which is very innovative and easier for us in general because they're in charge of cleaning the cups. And if they decide they don't want milk that day, they just don't bring a cup. So everyone's kind of on the same page in terms with that. And the refueling station is truly one of a kind because not a lot of universities have this option for their athletes and their students, meaning that this program not only benefits athletes because they get their snack after their lift, but it also benefits majors like me that need a practicum experience but want to do something that's fun and different. And I think that's really cool. The purpose of the refuel station is to do exactly as it's named, to refuel students after their lifts. And this helps replenish muscles and joints and electrolyte balances and all the great things that everyone needs while they're in recovery mode after a workout. So the snack is trail mix with dry fruit, almonds, and M&Ms, and also peanut butter filled pretzels. This is pretty high in carbohydrates. It has a little bit of protein, and with that and fat. So with that combination, the three macronutrients, that's very beneficial in overall healing after a workout. And the drink is about 8 ounces of chocolate milk. And this is a huge fan favorite. All the athletes love it. And it's delicious, but also high in protein. So it's kind of the perfect duo. The impact of this refuel is that it allows interns like me to directly communicate with athletes and get to know them on a personal level. And Justin Smith, our supervisor, loves that. He talked about it all the time and thought that it was really important. He really couldn't stress it enough. And this also allows dietetics and nutrition students to work with a specific demographic, athletes, of course, which I think is really interesting and cool because the job, it can be difficult and it can be harder definitely than expected, but it can also be very rewarding. And finding healthy and fun food options for this demographic can be tricky. So that's kind of why I think the impact is so large for me anyway, is that it's hard to come up with food that, everyone likes and it's suitable for everyone. So I think a lot of what this has taught me is pleasing the masses, but also staying true to your gut instinct and following what you know. So mentor values, as I previously mentioned, Justin is one of my mentors, and he was extremely passionate about the station, and he would send out weekly emails giving us updates if needed, just to let us, all the interns, know and be on the same page about certain things. And like I said, he really stressed getting to know the athletes and getting, kind of knowing them on a personal level. And he also really stressed organization and timeliness, which are both great values to have. Another mentor that I had was Amy Circle, and she provided articles to read every single week about different modules and different ways in which nutrition can be put into effect with athletes. And I found these articles to be not only interesting, but also very informative and helpful. And they really helped me expand my knowledge about sports nutrition. And the articles that I liked the best were Nutrition for Bone Health and another article about energy needs for athletes. So some of the learning objectives and also important lessons that I learned were to create relationships with the team I was working with. I think that was kind of my main objective, in my opinion, was to get to know them, see what they liked, kind of get to know them on a more personal level than just me giving them snacks. But another one of my learning objectives was to learn about food service and safety, which I definitely did. By reaching these objectives, I've accomplished a lot, and I have made friends through the refuel station. I've learned more about food and how that food can affect athletes. And I've also made great relationships with my co-interns, which I think is really cool and I wasn't necessarily expecting. So I'm really happy about that. So what I normally do in a shift, because it's only an hour long, I normally will prepare around 30 to 50 snack bags. And then if there's nothing else to make or I run out of baggies or something like that, I would organize or clean the station just so that whoever comes in after me isn't, picking up after me. And I was also responsible for creating a bulletin board, as we all were. And my bulletin board was about nutrition and bone health. And that information was all provided through some of my research and then another article that Amy gave us. And lastly, my co-intern Lauren and I decided to conduct this little experiment, if you will. And we both made a snack for the women's field hockey team, one that was moderate to high in protein and the other that was high in carbs. And we basically put it up to the athletes saying, you can have one or the other just based off of ingredients and looks, like which one would you pick? And most athletes chose the high protein option. And that's not necessarily surprising, but it was a little interesting just to see them kind of contemplate and go back and forth. And it kind of proves that athletes generally value protein to rebuild muscles after a workout instead of carbohydrates. Some self-reflection. I think that the refuel station has helped me a lot in realizing, just how much work has to go into working with athletes and athletic nutrition. I didn't necessarily realize that it would be as different as I thought it would be just to the general population nutrition. And although I am athletic, I'm not quite sure I see myself teaching this sort of nutrition to just athletes or working with this demographic solely. I would rather work with all sorts of populations and demographics to make sure that the knowledge that I'm learning here at UVM is widespread and can be attainable to all, because I think at the end of the day, if what I learn here can't be given to your average Joe on the street, and it can't be given to and it can only be given to someone of athletic background, I don't necessarily think that that's the best fit for me. I would rather be able to help as many people as possible on their nutrition and health and wellness journey. Thank you.